This story goes back a few years. I was in high school. From high school, I went into the Navy. From the Navy, I came back to Washington, D.C., and opened up my own little public relations shop. And I got a call from a friend of mine out of the city who says, "Charlie, you're an idea guy. A friend of mine just loaned a buddy of his $200,000 to open up a restaurant, and the restaurant is not doing well." And I said, I'm more sports and entertainment as opposed to restaurants. And the guy says, "Yeah, but you always come up with good ideas. Come up with good ideas and save this man $200,000. So I said, first I better find out what this is all about. Would you call down there and tell him I'm coming down to meet him? He's a French guy who owns a French restaurant." "Yes, I will." So I go down to Dominique's restaurant at 20th and Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C., and I see the gentleman. His name is Dominique, and I introduce myself. "Dominique, my name is Charlie Brotman, and the fellow who loaned you the money asked me if I could help generate some publicity, some advertising, and I understand that right now you're telling him you're going to have to close simply because there's no business. Can you tell me, what are you doing now to generate business?" And Dominique is a restaurateur. He's not a promoter. He's not a publicity man. He's good in the kitchen. So I asked him, "Dominique, what are you doing to get people, customers, into your shop? Do you have something different that nobody else has and they come in? Is it the prices that are so good that attract people? What is it that you're doing?" And he says, "None of those, no. I open up the door, the front door, and I wait for people to come in." And I said, "There must be a better way because it's not working. Can you tell me, I've never been to France, what do they do in France as a promotion, as a holiday?" And he says, "Well, the only thing that we've ever done is on Bastille Day, which is July 14, and we have a waiter's race." "Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun. Do you know of anybody in Washington that celebrates Bastille Day like that?" He says, "No, nobody does that." I says, "Does that give you an idea?" And he says, "No. Has anybody in Baltimore or Philadelphia or anybody that you're aware of a French restaurant that has a Bastille Day race celebrating Bastille Day?" He says, "No, nobody does it." And I say, "But Dominique, does that give you an idea?" He says, "No." I says, "Maybe we should do something like that. Nobody else is doing it. Why don't we do it?" "Nah, it'll never work." I said, "Well, they do it in Paris. They have never done it in the United States. Maybe we'll bring something to the table." "Well, bad idea. number one, where are you going to get the waiters to get in our race? Because other restaurants aren't going to let you have their guys to promote your restaurant. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. You forget everything and you continue doing what you're doing, and you'll have, you said you're going to close up in about 2-3 weeks. Well, July 14 is like next week. How about if I have a July 4 Bastille Day race? I'll set it up. You don't have to do anything. And he, in his mind's eye, is stupid Americans. They don't know anything. So I did. I was able to persuade a lot of waiters from our restaurant, as well as restaurants all over the city, because I had persuaded Air France to give us a trip to Paris for the winner of the race. That was a nice gift. The next thing I know, I've got everybody. We had like 20 waiters. We had all the media in the world there, print media, television. We even had networks, and it was really quite good. And it covered the city, and it covered the region, and everybody thought it was a lot of fun, which it was. Next thing I know, I'm looking in the newspaper, and I'm seeing the Washington Post has covered our event. And then the Channel 4, 5, 7, and 9 in Washington had covered it. CNN had covered it on a national basis. Next thing I know, we got people standing in line trying to get into Dominique's. They have heard so much about this famous French restaurant with the ultimately French Bastille Day race. The fellow who loaned the restaurateur $200,000 never thought he'd get it back. He sold the restaurant in about 6 months, got $4 million for it. He was able to pay the $200,000 to the guy who loaned it to him. And it was a major coup. I've never seen anything like it. And I put together some terrible promotions, but this baby worked.